loot, then kind of move in slowly.
You looting son of a bitch, you. That's what you are.
See what's going on, you know.
That is a big part of the new Warzone, is that seeing what's going on phase. Like, I was actually talking about this. I like it because it does force you to kind of, like, actually use some strategy. And that was one of the...
You can't just run.
No, and I'm glad, because that's all people did in the old Warzone was like, oh, I'm going to sprint, I got an SMG, I'm going to jump up in the air, I'm going to go prone, you know, oh, I don't have to worry about my gear because I'm going to run across everything, and my magnetic body will grab everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it still does it for ammo, but it only does it for ammo for guns you have.
And armor plates if you can fill them.
Yeah, I stow a shit ton of them because it's smart.
It's pretty much all I stow.
I will say, they've basically made money useless. Getting a loadout is a pain in the ass. You can't buy a loadout anymore. You can buy your weapons from your loadout with that money. You get like $5,000 or something. I don't even fuck with
that. I don't care about that.
They've made money absolutely useless in the game. Like, before, money was a big component. You were always trying to get that $10,000 to fucking do your loadout. Always. And now it's like, not really.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm a casual player that's always having to, like, work on getting fucking guns.
See, that's
and,
the thing,
like,
is
the attachments.
I play Modern Warfare.
Like, I don't mind.
Yeah, but your Modern Warfare 2, like, you can use those weapons in Warzone.
No, I know. What I'm saying is, like, I don't mind iron sights.
Oh, like, well, fuck, in the new Modern Warfare, you're slow if you have iron sights. If you're not freeballing that bitch with some iron sights, you're not moving. You're not as fast on that up.
Yeah.
Which, there is a balance. I got a couple loadouts, and my main is the M4 fully customized. I've got it maxed out. I don't have a gold gun yet because I haven't paid attention to those challenges. But I've got it maxed out, full level. And then I got the Fennec. And the Fennec, especially if you play hardcore, you move super fast. And you just don't even aim. If they're in front of you, and they're done.
I might check that out. My M4 is fully loaded out. I'm not gold yet. Same thing.
Challenges, yeah.
I have, it's not hardcore anymore. It's tier 1.
You know what? It's hardcore. Okay, they could suck my dick because tier 1 implies it's easier because it's the first tier. No Call of Duty player is a tier 1 player. We've all been playing for fucking years. It's stupid to name it tier 1.
Dude, we're getting at like 15 fucking years of playing Call of Duty.
Why are we calling something that's harder the precursor? Because tier 1 is bottom. It's first level.
I think the idea is, like, in the SEALs, like, a tier 1 operator is the best.
Oh, okay.
I think that's where they're going with that.
Stupid. It's stupid. I didn't know what it was at first. And I was playing with a couple friends, and Alex and I, who I was playing with, we normally love hardcore, but we were pissed off there was no hardcore mode. Not knowing tier 1 in that new update, or that update threw it out there. And so one day I was like, what the fuck is tier 1? And then I launched in and I was like, oh, it's hardcore. The one guy I was with, not having it. He's like, fuck hardcore, bro. I don't play hardcore. And I was like, yeah, no problem. Me, 40 kills, like, thrived because I was back in my homeland of all right, cool.
No, I like it. I have one complaint, and that's, like, you're not showing me my hit markers.
Well, that's hardcore.
No, hardcore always had hit markers.
No, it didn't.
You still had hit markers, and it would tell you your kill streak. It would tell you where you were at, and it would say, like, 1 shot, 1 kill. Like,
I don't remember about the hit markers.
Yeah, you had hit markers.
Let's see.
I only play hardcore. You have hit markers.
In all of them before this?
Yeah, all of them before this, yes.
The only time that frustrates me is when you're long range and you got to listen for the clink. Like, okay, that was a kill.
Yeah, it does still do that.
But you have to listen for it.
You can hear that it's a kill. It's hard to hear the hit markers.
Yeah, you don't know if you're fully hitting somebody because you're not, you're firing at them.
Yeah.
But hey, man, you know
did...
what? You want hit markers? Play regular, pussy. Get
No, I
good.
don't like it.
You don't like hardcore at all
No, I
because
like
you're a
that.
pussy?
What?
You're a Call of
All
Duty
I do
pussy?
is play hardcore.
Oh. You're gonna protest? You're gonna
I
send them
was
an
mad
email?
that they didn't have a hardcore. Yeah, send them an angry. I'm sure they'll. Actually, you know what? I gotta say though, I'm impressed. They fixed pretty much all the bugs that I complained about.
So I was having severe stutter in the beginning of it. The very first match was a lot of stutter. Then it smoothed out. So I was like, okay, it's streaming in assets. There's an issue here. I didn't have it installed on my SSD. Installed it on my SSD. Smooth. That's a problem though, because that becomes the first PC title that essentially for optimal performance requires an SSD without them saying it. You can say recommends, if everybody recommends a 1 terabyte SSD, blah, blah, blah. But they really should explicitly say, just like the console version, this game needs to be installed on an SSD to function properly. Because I was like, I can't play this game. I'm hating it because I got to deal with a round and a half or a match and a half of lag and stutter. I was like, all right, fuck it. So I moved over to my SSD, solved all that. Every match starts smooth. The campaign is smooth, which is like, what the fuck is streaming in and loading so much? Is my question. Like, how much texture load actually is there?
There must be tons because I still have maybe like the first 20 seconds of a match some issues with texture.
Yeah, yeah,
but no lag.
Yeah, I mean, because you can put a SSD in a PS4. Yeah. If you were to, you probably wouldn't be experiencing any of that. I actually hear putting a SSD in a PS4 really boosts the system performance overall, like by a lot. Like you're not doing anything as far as raw hardware, but just the speed transfers for the hard drives and streaming in assets, I guess, it's a fair upgrade.
I might look into that.
Or just buy. You got the money to buy a PS5. Why would you even fuck with your PS? Just buy a PS5.
Because then I lose so many games, man.
You mean you lose so many games?
I'm gonna lose Tony Hawk. Well, I guess I can keep my PS4 for that stuff.
Wait, what do you mean you're gonna lose what Tony Hawk? The new one?
No, the remastered one.
There should be a cross-gen thing because they have a PS5 version of it. I think it's like a $10 upgrade.
Oh, I'll look into it.
I've seen the PS5 version, so there's definitely a cross compatibility there. You just lose them all.
Well, you know what?
Everything was what? Lost my memory card.
Dude, remember memory cards?
I remember. So my parents, to their credit, they would get us a gaming console. The problem is they would get the console a year or two after it came out.
Yeah.
And the only console they ever jumped on, and it was still a year after it came out, was the Dreamcast. Unfortunately,
Dreamcast.
I loved the Dreamcast. I really did. It died 6 months after we get it. Not the console. All of Dreamcast was killed by Sega. The platform, 6 months after we got it. So I remember the memory card with the little screen on them. They had the official one that was like $50 maybe. And then they had like these generic ones that were like 20. And of course it was like, well, you got Christmas money. We're not helping you out because fuck you. We don't love you.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool. So we bought the generic ones. And then literally a few months, the whole console goes down. We're in a mire. The official goddamn memory cards are $15. Clearanced out. And yeah, I bought two. I still have a working Dreamcast, just like I have a working SNES, a working Genesis. I don't have an old school working Game Boy. I have the Game Boy, but it's non-functioning. I've got a working N64, but the problem is it's just so much easier to emulate this shit, and it's better quality. Like nobody, I'm gonna argue. I will fist fight anybody who says the goddamn N64 controller is better than modern controllers.
No, they're insane. The only thing I could see is like people are complaining about. I can complain about it, like the Crash Bandicoot remaster. Like you have to be so much tighter than you had to be on.
I like it. I think it's a great remaster, but it is hard as balls.
Yeah, no, and it's because of how tight it is now.
Yeah, how sensitive the control. And the other problem is if you're playing it on the PS4, you're at 30 frames a second.
Yeah,
Like if you had it on PC, or I think there might be. I don't know if it's got a next gen upgrade. More than likely does. And if you're running it at 60, it's not as bad because you got that. It's more fluid. You're at proper pacing. But once again, we were playing it on the PS1 with 24 frames a second, so 30 frames is already better. It is a hard as. I still haven't beaten the whole thing. I made my way through number 1, and I'm working my way through number 2. Every now and then I go to play, and I play it until I get frustrated, and I'm like, I don't play games to get angry. Like at this age, like I don't have that stupid competitive. I'm like I think in all honesty, I'm a pretty decent gamer. I can play virtually any title and do fairly well in it. But who the fuck has time to be angry at like your entertainment? That's literally like watching for your movie entertainment propaganda against what you believe in. It's like literally I sat you down and I'm like, hey Victor, I've got an hour and 45 minutes of woke liberal propaganda, and you and I, buddy, are going to get some popcorn and we're going to enjoy this shit. No.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't like my balls stepped on either. It's not pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's the Crash Bandicoot thing. I pull it out like every 6 months, and I die 20 times, and I go, all right, back on the shelf.
Well, I had that happen like a month ago where I started it, and I was at a boss, and the boss was just unreasonable, and I was like, I don't remember it being this fucking hard. And I literally quit.
That's the thing. I don't remember it being that hard.
Maybe we were better back then, or maybe our reflexes were better. We were younger.
They say it's something to do with the frames and because it's so much tighter on the next gen consoles that like you actually have to like time everything right. You can't just stumble through it.
Yeah, there is no safety nets. There's no like, oh no, you technically part of your toe landed on the green, so you were good. In this one, it's like, no, you're fucked.
Yeah,
like, we need his entire goddamn foot, heel and all, buddy. Oh, you missed that jump 6 times in a row? Only 3 lives left? It's like, you fucking oof. Ooh, motherfucker. Every time you get hit and you just hear that, Woodamaga! You just like, oh, I'm having fucking Vietnam flashbacks right now. I'm a huge Crash Bandicoot. I bought the new one.
Rage quitting Crash Bandicoot.
Dude, I bought Crash Bandicoot 4 and I played a little bit of it, and then I was like, I don't really want to play this, so I beat the other ones. And that's what started my adventure. I have yet to really play much of the new one at all because of that. I feel like a cunt. I am a cunt. That's a cunt thing to do.
Definitely.
Oh, big news. Wayne's World is on 4K, bruh.
Oh, sick. Hey, I forgot to mention, like every 45 minutes, I'm going to have to go stir a stock.
Okay.
That's all. We're good right now, but I just thought of it for some reason.
I told you we didn't need to do this. Had I known you had a stock pot full of stock brewing, I would have never okayed this. I'm glad I said that right. It almost didn't come out right. I almost just stroked out there.
Stock?
Yeah, I almost just had a stroke.
I had a stroke listening to you.
Good. That's what I wanted to elicit. I hope people are driving in their cars and just right into their neighbors. Just,
now I'm a John Fetterman. Thanks.
Oh, damn it, he's not well. Dude, him and Biden need to just fucking have a press conference where they each turn to a different direction and shake ghosts. How you doing?
Hey, did you hear that you have a lot in common with Joe Biden?
I do?
Yeah.
Like what?
He grew up around Puerta Rican culture.
Really?
You didn't hear him say that?
I did not.
Yeah.
When he says he grew up around Puerto Rican culture, he means the
In
maid,
Delaware?
the maids that came to clean his family home.
And then he fucked my ass.
No, that's Schwarzenegger's maid. Wrong maid.
Oh yeah.
Ati Mr. Schwarzenegger.
And then he sniffed my ass.
So there I was. I was just cleaning a cabinet, and Mr. Biden came behind me and started sniffing my shoulders. I thought it was weird, but he told me he would give me an ice cream. Why is our president...
Oh, yeah.
Our president is so... Like, here's the thing, right? I don't give a fuck about... At this point, I gotta be straight up. Whatever, my opinions will... You can say I lean one direction or the other. I like to think I'm fairly in the center with... At this point, because you've relabeled me right-leaning, so okay, whatever. But, like, I'm just kind of tired of the lines. Like, I really just wanted to just, like, go fuck off. We should be able to call out our senile president. I'm sorry. We should be able to say our president shouldn't be sniffing children. I don't think that's faux pas. And I think anybody who kind of like, well, you don't understand. It's more like when a grandfather comes up behind you, you know, gives you a good hug. It's like, well, here's the thing. He's not their grandfather, for first off. And my grandfather never came up behind me and gave me a good sniffy hug. I'm not down with it. Like, whatever way I vote, I'm not down with it. Like, sure, he's, you know, he's not directly responsible, but involved in allowing the fuel companies to surcharge the fuel to the way it is, allowing certain supplies of ours, not allowing us to refine our own, you know, having the Russia pipeline essentially of crude collapse is driving it. So it's everything, you know, it's all in a mixed bag, but he hasn't made it better. I'm going to go down, and my opinion is under Trump, we wouldn't be in this fossil fuel situation. I don't think situations, honestly, like Brittany Grenier would be going on. I think Trump was the type of president that probably vehemently disagrees with all the bullshit she spouts, yet he would be basically telling Russia, if you don't let her go, it's an act of war. You're holding her as a political prisoner. And you know, because the truth is stupid as she was, and she did break a law, you know, they're using her. Everybody sees it.
But they wouldn't even be able to use her as a political prisoner because there would be no war in Ukraine.
Well, but then I mean, but there's fault on her. What the fuck are you doing, bringing in weed to a country that is highly illegal, made it illegal? Like, not every country is the U.S. where you get a misdemeanor and, oh, by the way, weed's legal where I live, so I can be ignorant. That's not how it works. Also, do you think Russia's going to give you a WNBA player any fucking status in their country? You know, here in America, we're looking at it like, oh, that's a celebrity. And they're like, you do what? You do what? But that's how we're treating it in the media. And the Russians have no idea.
Even heard of her.
The Russians are literally, oh, they told basketball ladies. And it's like, oh, that's all they look at him as. It's all you are. They sent you to the fucking workhouse because you're big and you can work.
That's the other thing that they were saying, like, oh, if she made it, they turned it into a thing of like, oh, if she made enough money in the WNBA, she wouldn't have to go to play in Russia on her off time. She makes $250,000 a year in the WNBA. Granted, she doesn't make what LeBron James makes.
Yeah,
but she doesn't need to take a fucking side job.
What is that level of entitlement? Because that's what it is. It's saying he makes the best you got on the NBA make $40 million a year. I only make $250,000. How could I live on this meager salary?
Right.
How are you expecting me to actually feed myself with this pitiful shit when LeBron James doesn't need $40 million? It should be a law that he has to donate 40% of his $40 million to the WNBA. But then who does it go to? Because I guarantee you, real fucking quick. Beyond that. Beyond that. Let's say somebody came in and goes, I got $50 million. How many players are in the WNBA? 5? I mean, how many are in the WNBA?
Yeah, I don't know. How many teams are there?
Let's say there's 100 players in the WNBA, right? If you said I'm gonna give you 10 million, well, no, we'll make it a little nicer. We'll go. There's 100 people. We'll say there's 50 million. And he goes, and they say you have to decide amongst your players the distribution. Does everybody get an equal share, or does it start coming down to ranking real fucking quick? Because I would wager, if you did that, it would become Lord of the Flies so goddamn fast that you would have people like Brittany Grenier going, no, fuck you, I made this many shots, I was the league scorer, I should make this. And it's the same exact situation in the NBA. I guarantee you they would sink down to hypocrisy immediately. If she knew that she can get a little bit closer to LeBron, if she goes, yeah, we won, it was because I get 20 million. You guys figure out the 30. I think that situation would happen a lot quicker than them working together.
You know, it's the same thing with the. Started with the women's soccer team, didn't it?
It did.
Sell fucking tickets.
Well, okay, but that's the thing.
That's the thing.
It's dishonesty. They're not being truthful about what they're saying. They're being truthful and saying, "Well, he makes this and I make this." That's the truth. Facts. He makes more than me. That's a fact. But then it's distorted to be like, there's this idea that
we do the same job.
Yeah, you know, it's almost like, well, we're equal in every way, except he gets. Well, you're not. You're not equal in market share. You're not equal in ticket sales. You're not equal in live sales, or any packages, because a lot of the soccer shit is behind paywall. Like nowadays, it's streaming services. But if you're somebody who's really into football, then you have
pay money.
You're paying money to watch the ones that are in Barcelona and over, you know, in the Qatar. Like, it's not just free everywhere. So like, it's just like NASCAR, just like F1. There's some free shit, but there's a lot of paywall shit. So it's like, to make it seem like there's just these customers that just haven't been exposed to us because we play just as well. We have the same type of game. And it's like, stop. Stop. You make a good wage. You make the highest amount of money in the women's soccer league. Stop.
Yeah. It's as dishonest as when they argue the gender wage gap for regular women.
Yes, and here's I think a pretty good analogy. You're the CEO of a company, right? All of your employees are paid well, including you. But then you go to the owner and you go, you know, I make this, but the CEO in that building over there makes $30 million a year. Why? Why don't I make that? It's the same sort of you're not the same. You're different. Doesn't matter what they make. You make what you make. In the real world, this shit doesn't exist. That's what's so loony about it. In the real world, you can't go to your boss. I mean, you can if it's justified, as in like, hey, the other 3 people in my department got raises, yet I didn't get one. I'm concerned. Is there a reason for that? If not, I too would like it. That's completely reasonable. Going, hey, all of my people make the same amount of money and we're paid pretty well for what we do. But people in Apple, in my same field, make way more than I do. Who gives a fuck?
Go work at Apple.
Go work at Apple. Yeah, leave. Go play soccer for, oh, that's right, nowhere, because nobody gives a shit about you. The only league you have is the league you're in. Go sign shits at Comic Cons for the rest of your life. I don't give a fuck. You don't like it, leave. And just like that, that's my stance on immigration. Don't like it, leave. Fuck it, not even immigration. Americans, don't like it, leave. Don't like it, fucking leave. Dude, what if we did have a president? Like, what if Trump gets elected and he's just like, I got a new thing. Wait to hear it. Hold on. You ready? If you don't like it, leave.
Bitches leave.
Yeah, bitches, yeah. He literally pays Red Foreman buckets of money, so he just ruins his actor's integrity. And he's just, do I have to do this? Yeah. Did he? Uh-huh. Bitches leave. He just and walks on out. That's it.
Dude, he's been the same age for fucking 40 years.
You know what's crazy that you fucking mention it, dude? Is I literally watched. So, do you ever watch Netflix's The Movies That Made Us?
No, but I want to. I haven't watched it yet.
I watched a couple episodes, but never like really. It's always been background because you know my wavelengths. I've talked about that.
Yeah.
I sat down last night. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't do editing. I couldn't play game. Nothing. Not even tired. I'm like, I'm gonna watch something. I threw the one on Robocop on. Fuck, is that a good series? Like, I've only seen the Robocop one and I think another one, but holy shit, they're talking about how like it was really filmed in Dallas, Texas, and that the script was.
I didn't know that.
Either did I, because
maybe I did know that.
Well, the reason why they filmed it there is because at that point Dallas was putting up tall, you know, modern like buildings, so they needed a city that had. And Detroit was even in its heyday was rustic, so like they needed a city that looked somewhat modern and futuristic-y. So they filmed in Dallas. The first time they put the suit on him, it took 16 hours.
Good Lord.
To get him into the suit. The suit took over 6 months to even be made. Then it started with this dude who was a script reader. He started writing the script with Robocop, became like a CEO of some shit, and then still wanted to write this script, so he wrote it with a buddy. They gave it to the director, and at first he read it, and he's just like, this is shit. And his wife picked it up and read it, and she's like, you really need to read this again. Like, it's actually pretty deep. Because it is. Robocop is essentially a cyberpunk cop murdering mystery that has layers of political corruption, and then you have the whole concept of the government isn't the problem. It's now a war between factioning corporations. So Robocop was a much deeper film than anybody ever gave it credit for. Because it's much like The Watchmen. People, when it was advertised, like, hey, man, it's a new superhero movie, but it's rated R. It's not. Watchmen was boring to a lot of people because it's not a comic book hero movie. It's a fucking geopolitical, socioeconomical critique / satire. That's what the graphic novel was, too. That's my take, you fucking queers.
You got a lot of takes today. I'm just happy to be 3 weeks safe from an underwear hammer attack. You notice how we haven't heard anything about that?
You're not gonna, bro. It didn't happen. Didn't happen.
No.
This dude. For one thing, the media's got it all wrong. Okay. Pelosi, dude Pelosi, because I don't remember his first name, was just relaxing. Mr. Paul Pelosi. This is Mr. Paul Pelosi, I think is how she wants it said. Monsieur. He was chilling at the crib, right? He's like, I got some strawberries, some whipped cream. I'm just going to dip my strawberries. It's nothing gay. I'm just going to dip my strawberries in some whipped cream.
Oh my God, there's a dick in my mouth.
I'm going to watch some RuPaul's Drag Race. I'm just going to have a good evening. There's nothing gay about this evening. And then lo and behold, this MAGA guy, fully in his underwear. And by the way, I believe this is the first interview before any evidence. He goes, I believe they found a manifesto. On who? And he's like, oh, I don't know. I don't remember. And so he runs into the home, gets past security, right? Not let in at all. He really scoped this house out, knew every inch of the inside, somehow. Anywho, so he gets past security in his underwear and has a hammer. And he goes, ooh, I'm going to fucking attack you. And then Mr. Paul Pelosi calls the cops. And they come, and he answers the door. He goes, oh, hello, police. Yes. And then they're like, is there something going on here, Mr. Paul Pelosi? And he goes, bye! And runs back into the house, leaving Hammer Underwear Man there to then chase after and attack him. Fuck.
Now, I don't know. I just think it's interesting. We haven't heard anything about it.
Dude, I mean, but here's the thing is, like, how can the American people keep allowing this sort of shit to be swept under the rug? Like, it's our fault the media has zero accountability because we don't do anything about it.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's extremely telling to me that Nancy Pelosi's stepping down from Speaker of the House, which tells me it was too close of a call.
She's stepping down. 3 months from now, she's filed divorce. 3 months from then, she writes a book, makes another $2 million to $2 to $5 million, retires with her insider trading money. Oh, what? Well, how is she not in prison for insider trading?
Well, first of all, they all do it.
They all have a no, but they have a guy. It's just a guy, right? It's not insider training, but they got a guy. The guy knows tips. Like he's good. My guy's good.
Yeah.
Your guy's good, as in you cheat.
Well,
How do we have a system that you can cheat? Why do we?
I would
It's a
hope that
stupid
most
system.
of them are smart enough to say like, hey, whatever my stockbroker is, here's 10 grand, do whatever. And it's
I'm gonna say this about Trump, and it's still a concern. My concern with Trump, one of them, is at one point he's riding the same goddamn gravy train as they all were. And that's one of the reasons he fights to get his tax returns not seen. What if?
Well, I know that's why he's fighting it.
So then why not just out everything?
It's the same thing that Dave Chappelle just talked about on Saturday Night Live monologue, which I didn't see, but I've seen clips of it. It seemed like it was going to be good, but when he said he's like, "Do you know how I know the system's corrupt?"
Because I
use the system.
Well, see, okay, but to his point, Trump did say that. He goes, "Because I used it." But here's my thing, and I hate to put it this way, but if Trump was such a red-blooded patriot and it was all about the country, right? Wouldn't the best move for him be to kill his chance for running, maybe get him into some legal hot trouble, but out everybody with the proof, bring the entire system down? Because here's the thing.
Pay attention to.
But if you can get them to, if there's proof that it was coordinated, how close to, what do you have to prove to do RICO?
Yeah, I don't know if you go into if you do the deep dive into the conspiracy.
Deep dive conspiracy theory. That was like a sludge. I don't even know if there's a band named Sludge, but if there was, that's what it would sound like.
There is a genre called sludge, but they don't.
That was Sludge Incarnate. Yes, they do. Everybody in Sludge sounds like what's that one fucking band that's got that sort of God damn it, they were big in Viva La Bam. Not CKY.
Turbo Negro.
That's one of them, I think. How did that look where we are in TV, where that was literally on MTV's like Viva La Bam featuring Turbo Negro, and now it's like we're African American Latinx, please.
We're turbo African Americans, please.
Oh, you want to hear something fucked up? I was live on stream. This is completely just a fuck up on his part. He didn't think about it this way, but we were talking about people of color. People of color were two characters in Overwatch. POCs. And he comes out with, hey, those are people of chicken. Two black characters. But he was like, oh, and I go, do you realize what you just said? And he goes, no. Or he goes, oh, fuck, I do. And he's like, I honestly, just chicken was the first thing I thought of for C. He's like, I didn't think of that at all. I was like, God damn. The funniest fucking thing. And it was just, it's like, well, there goes my stream. Bye-bye, everybody. Then it just... My computer blows up for some reason. Twitch sends there's this. Little do you know, as part of the
move, creep.
as part of the affiliate program, is they come into your home and they plant 2 pounds of C4 in your computer, and if they remove you from the affiliate program, there's a pressure plate in your seat. And I know what you're thinking. Well, I have a standing desk. They do it in the floor as well. So where as soon as I get off this thing. I think I'm going to have to kill my dog. I'm going to have to pick up my dog and put him in the chair, and I'm going to lunge out of it. Either that or maybe Jen could facet some sort of riot shield to potentially protect me from the C4 backblast.
God, I hate riot shield fucking queers.
I do appreciate that when they put them on their backs, they're not as protective.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Vanguard.
No, you can shoot through it at their backs.
Fucking Vanguard it just blocked it, and they never fixed it. It just run around, nobody can get you from the behind. Smart strategy, really. Bold strategy, Cotton.
Also, they could delete a map, and I would fucking applaud it. That fucking border crossing.
Oh no, I'd much rather have the. I'd rather keep border crossing, but get rid of the Sniper Haven sand one, where it's nothing but broken buildings and sand.
I used to have the same sentiment, but I've started using marksman rifles on that.
Ah, you're one of the lost.
It works.
Of course it works. It's hardcore. It's a one-shot kill. Sorry,
Yeah, I'm not.
tier one. That's you every time I hear tier one.
Well, I'm not good with sniper rifles, so.
Yeah, so you use the
But the
intermediate.
marksman rifles, I am.
Yeah, but I mean they're also like way stronger, so it's a one-shot kill.
I realize that,
in
but
tier one.
yeah. Well, they're 2-shot kills in.
Yeah,
They're one-shot headshots, 2-shot in the body.
See, they're not always one-shot headshots. The battle rifles. That's the fucking problem I had with them. Is I was using one and I got a headshot and it was broke 3 armor.
Not the battle rifle, the marksman rifles.
Oh, yeah. I see. I'm not a big. Here's the thing. I'm pretty good at sniping. I just don't enjoy that style of gameplay. Like Warzone, every now and then I'll grab a sniper and I'll have some success because I'm not bad at it.
So the marksman rifle I use is the EBR-14. It's pretty much an M1 Garand, but modern.
Oh, what's the one I like? The lever action they have in the new one. Is it the
I don't know what they call it.
Something.
First of all, why did they lose all the rights to the gun names? I don't understand that.
I don't know, but the Fennec is a badass SMG. It sounds like an allergy. Like, oh, you have Fennec disease. What the fuck is that?
But they kept M4 and M16, but like the other ones that are real guns, like the Scar, is called something else.
Yeah, it's T, and then the AK-47 is not an AK-47.
It's a cast-off 7.62 or whatever. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, maybe it was just them being cheap. They lost a lot of money, you know. They didn't microtransactions enough people for Warzone, and there's not enough kids using their parents' credit card for $50 transactions. I'm sorry, but if my kid, for one thing, my kid wouldn't have my fucking credit card on their gaming app. But if my kid somehow stole my credit card, put it on their gaming app, and did that, I probably would lose that child to like because I would beat them. I'd beat them.
Do you buy the battle pass?
I did, yeah. Well, actually, I bought the $100 edition, the Chump edition, as I call it, which came with the first tier. Or no, it came with the first battle pass. So I got essentially for $100. I got the game plus the battle pass. So that's total $79. So I spent $20 for other things that I don't know what they are. Some skins, I think.
Yeah, the pre-order skins. One pre-order operator.
Well, see, at the time, I didn't realize that all editions they gave multiplayer to. I thought it was just the $100 edition. And they gave it to all of them, and I was like, okay. I didn't pay $1 for it because I went through my console games that I just don't play, and I traded a bunch of shit in, and I got like $100 and something for it. So that wasn't a big deal. That's why I was like, kind of like no sweat off my ass. But it's still the Chump edition. Like if you paid hard-earned $115 in tax for that, oof, that's a lot to explain to your wife, because then you're going to bed angry every night, just like, shit about fucking Spider-Man. I'd have actually been having fucking fun with fucking Spider-Man. And then the Call of Duty third-person mode is essentially a direct rip-off of SOCOM. You haven't tried
I have no interest in fucking with third person.
It's weird. I didn't like it. The DMZ, which I haven't tried, apparently is like Tarkov Light, which is intriguing because I'm a Tarkov fan. Well, I don't know if anybody's truly a fan of Tarkov, because Tarkov is essentially you agree to have a panic attack for 20 minutes till the end of the level.
Yeah, I've never played it.
Tarkov is one of those games where you slowly move your way through. The way to play it is essentially you do some runs where you just get some gear and get the fuck out as quick as possible. And then you do runs where you're actually, essentially, you got to get from one end of the map to the other. But you can choose what area. So there's certain areas that are smaller that make sense for newbies, where it's like, I'll go here, I'll grab some gear from the dead, or I'll try to get a kill, grab some gear from that person, then get the fuck out. That way, I got some gear, because you lose your shit if you die. And then you gotta buy more. You keep
it if you get out?
Yeah. And that's the whole thing, is you can go into a game and fight no one, just pick up gear you find and get the fuck out. And that's how you get more gear, or buying it from the black market. Which is expensivo. Almost expensive of Tebow.
Mucho expensivo.
Si, senor. We have ESPN Plus.
Si, senor.
Fucking Mexican
Si,
hotels.
senor.
Right? We have HBO Max.
Hey, did you see? I'm sure you're not keeping up with the World Cup, but Mexico had a draw with fucking Poland.
Really?
That's funny.
That is funny because they
Yeah.
both hate immigrants.
They both hate each other. Well, only in Chicago they both hate each other.
I'd imagine if a Pole met a Mexicano, they wouldn't like each other.
They were saying that the stadium for that game was like 90% Mexicans.
I'd believe it.
I don't know how Mexicans are affording to go to Qatar to watch fucking. Also, real quick, since when is that country called Qatar?
Who says that?
Fucking all the news stations.
Oh yeah, it's coming live from Qatar. Qatar sounds like an
Qatar.
angry stepwife. Believe me. He's a
It
Qatar.
sounds like the middle daughter on fucking Seventh Heaven when she was cutting herself because she's a bitch.
I missed that episode where the dad came home and he's like, "What's going on?" And the wife's just like, "She's cutting, Tom." And he's like, "What?" She's like, "She's cutting."
No,
And he just kicks in her door and he goes,
remember-
"You need to stop being a little bitch. I'm tired of this shit." And he slapped the knife out of her hand.
It sounds like you've never watched Seventh Heaven.
No, because I wasn't gay when I was a kid.
I think my sister watched it, but I remember
I'm gay now.
it's a deep memory in my life because there's an episode where the middle daughter is cutting, and they hand her a card or a pamphlet or something, and the phone number on it is 1-800-DON'T-CUT, and I just thought it was so funny. So stupid.
He hands her a card and it's got like a sad kitten and she opens it and it's like, "Stop being a bitch." What?
1-800-DON'T-CUT.
Don't cut.
Stop cutting, you fucking cunt.
You know, I was going to kill myself, but then I dialed 1-800-DON'T-KILL-MYSELF. And here I am talking to you, Betsy. Sir, this is a sex line.
You want to go get a drink?
Yeah. She's like, "I'm sorry, I don't date mentally ill." And he's like, "Oh, fuck it, I'm ending it. I keep getting rejected by people I call it suicide lines." Not a good life.
What else we got? Hey,
Jesus saves.
no, I was gonna bring something up
Okay.
about something.
Was it about Black Betty? Whoa, Black Betty?
As a matter of fact, it was about Ram Jam.
Was it really?
No.
That would be amazing. What else is there to talk about Ram Jam than Black Betty? Like, hey, so let's just listen to some of
What
the
a badass name, though.
some of the Ram Jam deep cuts. A badass name for fucking white hillbillies on top of it. Like, I'd see Ram Jam as like a soul group, and instead it's these fucking hillbilly funksters. I love it.
You know who's cool too? That you would think they're hillbillies and they're not? Is Dire Straits.
Another thing that's odd you bring up, because I think we talked about this last week, but then I was listening to a podcast, they talked about it. The little is a millionaire.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Well, the funny thing about that is that's literally in a character who they're portraying as ignorant. But it still gets bleeped out.
So
not everywhere.
I've been in some small towns where it is not out.
It's just one
and
like
actually,
DJ who runs the whole thing, and he's just like,
it's just like omitted.
Well, that's what modern bleeped out is.
Yeah.
You remember back in the day when it would be the loud bleep? It was terrible. Like, it used to, you couldn't listen to music that way. It ruined everything.
Yeah. I think it's crazy that, like, there's still country stations that refuse to play
the live Garth Brooks because he says ass.
No. It's A Boy Named Sue. Johnny
Why?
Cash. Because he says son of a bitch in it, I think. Oh no, it's not Johnny Cash. It's not A Boy Named Sue.
Charlie Daniels?
It's Charlie Daniels when he says I done told you once, you son of a bitch.
I'm the best there ever is. By the way, rock and metal versions of that song are better than the original every time.
Also, the Devil's Riff is better than fucking Charlie Daniels.
Oh, my dog is barking at.
Charlie Daniels has a really good song about being a long-haired redneck. Daniels has some good tunes.
I
But there's one.
I don't listen to this hillbilly shit.
Well, there's one about him driving through the South, and it's pretty graphic. Like he goes into a bar and he gets called like a hippie, and like gets his ass beat, and like goes back in and stabs a guy, and then like I don't know. It's a bunch of times that he says.
I mean, I'm just gonna say, if somebody does call you a hippie, right, and then beats your ass, and then your course of action is to go and try to stab them, you might be a hippie fan.
No, well, I take that the other way. I say that's real ass.
Fucking Jeff. No, it's not. You go in with a weapon because you got punked out, you fucking little bitch. Jeff Foxworthy. You might be a hippie. You're gonna have to bleep all of this, by the way.
That's a real ass dude.
No, that's a bitch.
Go on a podcast.
Got my ass whipped. I'm gonna go get my steak knife from the car. Fuck that hippie queer.
It's not really the point of the song, but yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, but I'm looking at it like, wait a second. So you went in there and you were being a little bitch, and he called you out on it, then whooped your ass, then you stabbed him? What kind of bitch does that?
You need to know a little more about the history of country music too, I think.
There's history in stabbing people after getting your ass whooped in country music? I never heard that Garth Brooks song.
No, the thing, there's a thing with like Waylon Jennings, Charlie Daniels, like Hank Williams Jr., all them dudes. They were looked down on. First of all, they all had like long hair.
Probably because they were.
Well, they were.
Is that where the Bob Seger line, like, is that a woman or a man? Is that all part of that thing?
No, I think that's a truck stop thing.
Oh, he was talking about lot lizards?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh, that changes it for me entirely. I thought it was like a glam rock hair, long hair thing. I didn't realize it was transgender lot lizards.
Yeah, I think that's what it's about because he's
learned something new every day.
Because it's from the perspective of an artist, but it's about being on the road the whole time.
That's my whole thing. Is it's like you're not a trucker though. Like I'm just gonna say this: as a rocker, there isn't one groupie that you could fuck and bring to the next town that'll get a bus back or something.
I don't know how many.
You're fucking lot lizards, bro. Bob Seger, you're a dirty bitch. Ew. Shame on you, Mr. Seger.
One of my fucking favorite Norm Macdonald jokes is a Bob Seger joke.
Norm Macdonald, he really goes the spectrum of like Hitler to Bob Seger. He just went everywhere.
Well, the joke is like, I don't remember the whole word for word, but it's like a new study out of a northeastern college shows that shows that men with beards are more manly than men without beards. God, more great work from the University of Bob Seger.
Hey man, they do some good research. They're this close to curing cancer with acoustic waves.
Not man, Bob Seger's got some bangers.
He does, bro. I ain't messing with a son, bitch. That song for a long time was like bleeped out, and I think they play it fully. Like,
what's bleeped out in it?
The bitch used to be bleeped out. For a while, for a long time, it was I ain't messing with the son of a. And then, like, it was in the 2000s when they bleeped it out.
Talking about.
Wait, maybe that's not Seeger. What the fuck? Somebody better be robbing my goddamn house right now.
You know what I don't ever remember being censored?
What?
Is The Bitch Is Back by Elton John.
You don't censor Mr. John.
No, that song's sick. And I think it came out now. Yeah, it's the 23rd. I'm gonna watch that Disney Plus concert.
Jen wants to as well. She's also gay. Don't feel bad.
Yeah, that's actually.
Let
me go stir my stock. Let's get in some real shit.
Elton John, I have to give credit for his defending of Eminem. Because he was one of the first people when before it was mainstream, the canceling, and everybody was trying to cancel Eminem. He was one of those people. Yeah, and he was one of those people that came out and said, I know the guy. We work together. He's a wonderful person. You can believe what you want to believe, but he's not homophobic. And Which, you know, it does. You can look at it as like, oh, that's just Elton John trying to appeal to other people, but you can really he took a risk with that with his career. He could have lost a share of his audience for defending Eminem because at that time Eminem was numero uno on the list of the LGBTQ and all those in every fucking community you could think of, including the right wing and the left wing.
Yeah, no, I badass. Also, that's one of my favorite. It's from I think the second album, Eminem's album, where he's talking to Paul, and he's like, "Do you know why Dre's album was so successful? He's rapping about big screen TVs, blunts, 40s, and bitches. You're rapping about homosexuals and Vicodin. I can't sell this fucking record."
I thought the Eminem Show was a great record. That was the one with it's just third one. I thought the second was great. In a different, it was much darker.
First two for me.
Well, the first two were great, but they're much darker than the Eminem Show.
I think that's why I like them better.
Probably. I mean, you know, but I gotta be honest with you. There's only so long you can rap about murdering your mother and hating your ex-wife. Your daughter's like fucking black dudes now. Get over it. Like she's at that age. She's already there. Sorry.
The Eminem Show, I remember really liking it as a kid, and I try to listen to it now, and it's cool. It's still good, but like you can see he's trying to deal with success.
It was definitely his most mainstream album.
And then he goes off the deep end into drugs with like.
Well, he had Relapse and Recovery, which I think out of those two albums, I liked one song. Then what was this big hit out of those two was that one he remixed Everybody the Stroke into. I think it was called Renegade. Renegade.
I don't know that song.
Really? It's not a bad song. Here, hold on. Let me pull it up on the old interwebs, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, are we going to do this in Discord or here?
I can't share it through here, so it would have to be through the Discord.
All right,
if I share it through here, it's not in the episode.
Okay, well,
or our cameras won't be. I don't know, but yeah, I'll go to the Discord and share it because that's the way we do it. You're going to hear me echo for a second. You shouldn't hear me echo anymore. All right.
I need to figure out how to.
I haven't shared the screen. I'm sharing Spotify now. I believe it was called Disney's Disenchanted is now on Spotify. There's something for your daughter. Eminem's. Eminem's. Renegados. This may not be it, but we'll see. Definitely not it.
I'm lost. Oh.
You gotta click the window.
Yes.
You're such a fucking boomer, bro.
I am.
Alright, I don't honestly remember. Was it Kill Shot? It can't be Kill Shot.
You sound like a bee.
No, Kill Shot's on that last album.
It's not Lose
Which
Yourself.
actually I enjoyed.
Kill Shot's a decent track. But he had one that was
album.
Wait, what is this curtain? Oh, it's the hits. I was like, he already did all these tracks. What the fuck? Why do I feel like?
About you, do it, not a.
No, it wasn't Kill You, was it? No, Kill You's old.
When I was just a little.
No. Wow. Apparently, it can't be that great of a song if it didn't make his fucking. It didn't make his greatest hits, apparently. Berserk.
Oh, Berserk.
What album is that on?
I don't know.
That doesn't help, Victor. Why does it do that?
Hold on, I might get there. Hold on.
I mean, I'm thinking it was a single. Maybe I should just look at singles.
Marshall Mathers LP2.
Why is this being so difficult for me?
It's from 2013. How about? I just saw it. Up. The first album you were on.
Relax, homie.
It's in this one.
This is Curtain Call 2, not Marshall Mathers.
Okay, well, it's in that one. I promise.
Oh, okay. Will say though, it does kind of sound like he's backed up to a fence and the bullies are moving in closer. Like the way he's got like a stressed vocal
He's
tone.
panicked.
At a wedding.
Yeah.
That wedding's doing all right because all the white people would be dancing to that. They'd be doing their weird cracker dances they do.
They'd be stroking.
What is the country western dancing where it's basically just their feet, the line dancing? It's not line dancing. It's called something because line dancing is with a partner, isn't it? Or maybe it is line dancing where they're just like the Texans do it, where they just shuffle their bottom fucking portion and the top just does nothing.
I think that is line dancing because a two-step. There's more to a two-step.
What idiot invented line dancing? What assholes like I got no rhythm, but my feeties move good, and they just fucking.
Now do-si-do, the Irish.
Oh, that was okay. So the basically what you're telling me is country line dancing is a jig.
Yeah, kind of. Also, you ever listen to Irish folk music?
More than I have country.
Oh, well, it's country music.
Yeah, basically.
It's good country. Yeah, like.
But it's rhyming with good limericks and such, though. Country's just like, I had 4 beers today.
It's not though.
It is.
That's fine. Hey,
come on,
Christmas song,
you can't tell me country isn't bad in a lot of ways when fucking what's his face does the Billy Cyrus fucking team up and it takes over the country world.
That's bad country. That's bad country. For sure.
Bad country is
doubt.
popular country.
Yeah, popular country is bad country.
Fair enough. What were you saying?
You know what? I'm gonna come up there and show you some red dirt shit. You're not gonna like it, but
Let's
it's
turn
not.
it off.
It's not what
Bluetooth.
you're.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's not. But it's not what you're characterizing it as.
Hey man, eating pussy,
They're
sucking dick, and kicking ass. Like Tenacious
yeah, that
D.
dude's good.
Like Tenacious D.
Wheeler Walker Jr.
Tenacious D's tell stories.
Kicking ass.
Yeah, eating pussy, sucking dick, and kicking ass.
Yeah.
Just how he goes down with like the deep country to just sucking dick and kicking ass. Come on, man. That deep voice makes me laugh.
Yeah, the whole
every
song's
time.
eating pussy, and then at the end he sucked the dude's dick.
I love it. It's clever.
Oh, it's a tranny. Yeah, it's a tranny.
It's clever.
Eating pussy, sucking dick, and kicking ass.
Hey man, I'm there. I don't think I would make that choice. Favorite what?
Favorite Christmas song? Go.
Is it cliche to say Mariah Carey? No, I don't know. You have one already?
I've got a couple, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I do like what Rock Around the Clock or whatever it is by Seltzer. Whatever the fuck they call it, I don't remember. His Christmas song.
Brian Setzer.
Yeah, Brian Setzer. Yeah, Brian Seltzer water. I don't. Jingle bells.
Brian Salsa water.
Brian Seltzer water.
Salsa.
Salsa sauce. It's the same thing. Same thing. I don't know. I never really think about Christmas. I mean, we are at the point where, like, if my wife and I go out, it's going to be Christmas music from now on, and like, if I take her mother out, it's gonna be Christmas music on my radio. Like, normally I listen to a podcast that like we're literally sitting in the car and Jim Norton goes, "Oh fucking cunt," and she's like, "Oh god," like, yep.
Yeah, you fucking cunt.
This ain't no Uber. Ain't much better in here, kid. I love that the people our age get that. It doesn't matter who the fuck it is. If they're within our age range, if you pull out the ain't much better in here, everybody knows it. They literally go, Home Alone 2. It's a weird thing.
We'll get back to this, but I was thinking about something the other day, like how into comedy I am right now.
Uh-huh.
And I realized that it's all the comedians that are popping right now,
Uh-huh.
I guess, are they're our age.
Yeah, I also didn't realize
so
that
it's our experiences. It's our
Except for like the Dave Chappelle's of the world, the Joe Rogans of the world, they're older. So theirs is just because they're pure funny machine.
I don't find Joe Rogan that funny, but
you know what? I haven't seen his. I don't. It's gonna sound bad, but I don't think I watched his last couple specials. I have to really like a comedian to sit down and watch your special. Like, I've also migrated a lot to the online. Like, you know, you're into that crowd too, the Legion of Skanks crew and the Nick Mullins of the world.
Yeah.
Like Ari Shaffir just put out his special Jew on YouTube, and so like, you know, the idea of
have
like,
you watched that?
I haven't yet. I want to. One of the funniest quotes I heard him talk about it though was like, you know, they were like, "Were you concerned that releasing a special, like, or when you released the special titled Jew, this happened like a week before the Kanye thing? You know, like, were you happy? Like, you were like fighting against Kanye?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you know, he did it. And I was just so happy to jump on the bandwagon of anti-Semitism." Like, he went full in on the joke of him hating Jews in it.
I just heard him talk about it on obviously it's a I don't know what you saw that on, but it's a different medium.
I don't know who he was with. It might have been Two Bears.
Well, he was on Theo Von.
Oh, I haven't watched that whole thing. Theo Von's great.
Well, he asked him about you know, naming it Jew and then Kanye. And he said, you know, he's like, Kanye has had a bad experience with a couple of people, and I understand it, and they happen to be Jews. He's packaging it wrong, and I understand what he's doing.
Yeah, it's misguided.
And yeah,
I will say though, Kanye, I gotta give him some credit, right? Because he's outside of wherever he was going into, and they cornered him, and they're questioning him, and he goes, "Okay." He goes, "This is this company, this company, this company, this company." Pulls out his phone, got the goddamn Excel spreadsheet, and he's like, all of the red, which 95% of it was red. He's like, those are all Jewish CEOs. So, and I'm not saying that there's a cabal of Jews running everything, but the fact of there is fact in saying the mass the mass majority amount of people that are in the power positions in media are Jewish. Yeah. That's fact. And the problem is you know, it might be his phrasing, but I mean, he's saying fact. And we used to be a society that even if somebody came out and said something like that, if then they came out and said, "Well, here's my proof," we used to go, "Oh shit, okay. I still don't like you, but fuck, we need to look into this." And we don't. We just don't anymore.
His reasoning is like the CEO of Balenciaga fucked him. The CEO of Adidas fucked him.
Oh, speaking of Balenciaga, did you see their viral campaign?
I saw something about
they had children.
Oh, kids, right?
Children in the ads, but then in one section there was a paper from like a hearing about child porn.
No, there's something about I saw something about kids in like BDSM outfits.
I'm looking up right now.
But the CEO of Balenciaga, the CEO of Adidas, his agent, his publicist, and his doctor have all done him wrong, and they're all Jewish. So
and his trainer.
But that's where
I don't know if his trainer. I don't know if his trainer's Jewish, but you got to remember his trainer's the one that had him drugged up in the first place. He showed text receipts of the trainer threatening to do it to him again. Like, that's one of the things that he showed was he showed a text receipt, and then it does beg the question of why does a trainer have that much pull on him? Because that sounds like a handler. A handler is somebody who texts you and goes, "Keep your shit up. We're going to drug you, and you'll be back in zombie land, and you won't be able to see your fucking kids." Because that's what the text message says. That's not a trainer. That's a handler.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Which I don't understand why we're allowing that to be ignored. I'm sorry, like, you can go, this guy's a fucking asshole for what he's saying, but to ignore goofy shit going on and him going out and saying this is weird, that's bullshit. Like, I don't give a fuck if you don't like the guy. I really don't care. You can't ignore injustice and wrongdoing in favor of your fucking agenda.
From my perspective, I've never been a bigger fan of Kanye.
Here, to be honest with you, I like a few of his songs. It's not my scene. So it's the music itself. I don't like. I understand his musical skill and the tracks that I like of his. I like a lot. I don't have any skin in the game. I don't need to like him. A lot of what he's
Yeah.
done is he's been very douchebaggy. But I'm not gonna write the guy off as fucking crazy because they tell me he's crazy. That's really what it is. No, Kanye is crazy because we say so. Well,
that is what
some of what he's saying, especially if you watch like the Tucker interview, and maybe not so much on the Lex Friedman, because every time he mentioned Jews, Lex, no, it's not. It's like, Lex, if there is a cabal, you're part of it, buddy. You do understand that.
Yeah, if there is, you're in it. Because he even says that he's like, my agent did this to me, my doctor did this to me, my publicist did this to me, and he's just like, well, they just happen to be Jews. And
Yeah, they
like,
just
but that's where I'm drawing this from.
Well, but see, that's where the problem is, right? If you don't agree with somebody, it's very easy to negate what they're telling you as their life experience.
Right.
Like, look at when we got into it over the firing, and it was simply a miscommunication of, I was saying real world as in I've actually been there, done that in the corporate environment, and you had taken it like it was like a fuck you, and I was like, well, no, I'm just saying I've done it, I've been there.
There's more, actually. I've thought about that a little more since you brought it up. Are you also talking about salaried workers?
No,
because there's a difference there.
So that's the other thing, is this was hourly / commission, which is, I think, the loophole that allowed my boss, because I basically wanted to fire her she was at will anyways, and the guy who owned the company always had to punch down and make sure he left his stamp as an asshole. And him and I actually got into it about it, and I told him, I was like, look, I get it, we're gonna fire her. And I even told him at the time, like, she's technically on lunch, it's not stealing time. Like, he goes, well, no, I can write her up for it because of her commission base as well. I can put it down. And I thought about it, and it was like a weird thing that he was able to notch it. But the problem, here's the other thing. In that case, though, she's fucked regardless. For one thing, you're at will in Illinois. So it doesn't matter. We didn't have to write anything. It's just the old man that ran the company was a cunt. We could have literally said, we're firing her because she didn't do what she was supposed to do on the job. Her sales weren't what we expected.
Right.
But instead, the guy had to push things. And the thing about that is the employment offices aren't going to go against it, because then the way unemployment works is you get your notice, you're going to get mediated, you have to talk to them, they're going to talk to them, and that's how it works. And then the mediator decides blah, blah, blah. You weren't going to get unemployment because, whatever you write down, if you say, well, her lunch is a half hour and she's that was the other thing I think I may not have talked about. She was legitimately stealing time, now that I remember. This was the same woman I talked to you about that would leave the office because she figured out she could clock out from her phone. Oh. She would leave she would leave that was the thing that he really pinched her on, now that I think about it. And the problem was, dude, this girl and I started together, and I just, within 6 months, I was moved up to basically running the place, and he was just making I would just do this, yes, no. I did everything else. And I felt bad about firing her. I really did, because it's like, I know you, we're friends. I used to, in the very beginning, go out on lunch and smoke pot with her, because the job was easy. And then here I am in a fucking room going, hey, you know what you did, man.
Yeah, no, that's a shitty position to be in. I've been in that position where I started one of my first jobs down here. I started with dudes, and I got moved up, and they were still, and then our boss quit, and I was made into kind of the interim boss until they found somebody else. And they're like, we started with you, we should be where you're at. And I was like, but you're not.
You're not for a reason is the important element of it.
Yeah.
You're not you're not where I am because you didn't do something that I did, which was show motivation,
right. Also,
extra effort, whatever.
Yeah. Also, you smoke weed at lunch and everybody knows it because you come back and smell like weed.
Oh, see, we were good, dude. And this is why I loved working. This is why I love living where I am, because of the suburbs. Oh, were they like the type that was just blazing in the lot in their truck, enclosed, and then would come in?
And the two of them were, I don't know, they weren't smoking meth. They were smoking weed, but
how do you feel about them coming back? And it's weed. You're smelling weed. That's all you can really, for sure know.
the other thing is too is like I used to take lunch with them and just not smoke weed, so I know.
So yeah.
And it's like, and
there
I'm
is
telling
no,
them, like, hey,
it's not happening. It's like I sat in the car with you.
Yeah, and then it's like, just so you know, the higher ups also know this is a shit place to work.
So for you, it wasn't like a problem as long as they did their fucking job, or was that the problem?
No,
Is
but
it started to affect the job, or just started to look bad in general?
No, it had nothing to do with the weed. What it was is that like they started laying down and not working because it was me in charge. Like they were trying to protest. And it's like, look, I know what you're doing at lunch. You could be fired immediately. Like I don't know what your argument is.
What's crazy is I've played both sides.
What?
I've done both sides. I've literally, when I worked in a telemarketing office, or it was a sales, it was a call floor. So it wasn't telemarketing because it was one company, but it was that sort of sales, outbound sales, or And when I worked there, I was all about revolution. I was just like, you went from Duncan to Folgers? Like, I was your employee that you don't want to deal with because I knew what you owed me and I knew how good I was. That's the weird thing about sales. Is if you know how good you are, and probably in your industry too. I mean, you talk all the time about how you're like the only dude that you know of in that area, especially with that company, that can do certain things you do. So like, there comes a certain, I don't want to say leniency, but there's an entitlement. There's a certain entitlement to being so good at what you do that without you there would be loss.
Well, yeah, and that is me with my, back to the time thing. I'm 10 minutes late almost daily.
Yeah, but you're also, you could probably go, how many times do I stay late? How many times do I work extra?
I have no problem staying late. I skip lunches, take short lunches. I don't, as far as I'm concerned, you give me my 8 hours a day and I'm not going to complain about staying late an hour.
So you shouldn't complain about me coming in 10 minutes late because of
I don't really care.
Because we were running behind because I have a kid. I think it's a fair agreement. Whatever. I think between, especially in a small business, I think you need agreements like that. I think you need those agreements where it's like, look, I do good work for you. You generally take care of me. Don't bust my fucking balls. We're not a corporate structure here.
Which is kind of how it is, except for every once in a while, my boss, my direct boss, will, he doesn't show up any day until 9. We start at 8. And then we don't get off till 5, and then because our lunch, which is fine, whatever. But we bring up all the time that like we'd rather start at 7, and he's like, no. And he's like, somebody has to be here from 8 to 5 because that's our business hours. And I'm like, but you're not here
until 9. Why aren't you here till 5?
Yeah.
No extra work is being done at fucking 4:30. We're not taking in new clients to start working on immediately.
Right. So it's like, why can't we start at 7? You can still show up at 9.
Yeah, you do 7. You do 7 to 4. He does 9 to 5, and he has somebody else that stays with him if he feels unsafe.
Right. Like the one dude wanted to work 8 to 5, and it was like he can work 8 to 5 with you, and you can show up at 9, and me and this other guy can work 7 to 4.
The ones who do the real work. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I've dealt.
It's like, hey man,
it's all a shit show though, because I've dealt with the corporate shit show. I've dealt with small business. The small business shit show. It's just problem is for your average worker, dude. There is no job out there that's gonna like. If you're working for somebody else, you're never gonna be 100% fulfilled.
That's true, and I understand that, and I'm trying to get out of that hole. I'm trying to figure out what to do.
Well, I mean, but I wouldn't say you're in a hole. I mean, you make a good wage, you take care of your family. Yes, you may not love the company, but it allows you to live the life you do.
No, but my biggest complaint is like he'll come at me like once every 3 months. He's like, "Hey, you were, 10 minutes late 2 days in a row," and then he's like, "And you're setting a bad example for the rest of the fucking crew."
Well, you mean the crew that smokes pot in the truck on the lunch? You mean that crew that?
No.
Okay. I was like,
no, that's a different place.
Okay.
No, there's only 5 of us in the shop, so you know. And it's like, you're setting a bad example. And I was like, I'm not setting a bad example. If anybody's setting a bad example, it's you.
By not being here from open hours from 8 to 5.
Yeah, because you are the shop manager. You should be here. You should be here earlier than us, and you should be here later than us.
Yeah,
that
that work I'm working on is not going anywhere. Why? Because I'm fucking working on it. So maybe you should put in some extra effort.
I mean, that's my thing. You're setting the bad example.
I think that's fair. I think you need to crotch punch him.
I come in. Well, I'm friends with him too. I've known him a long time.
You can crotch punch a friend.
But I've told him. I said, dude, look, you want to tell him I'm setting a bad example. You are. I said, I show up at 8:10. I work till 12:10, and then take my 50-minute lunch. I said, I don't give a fuck. I get what I need to get done. And I said, there's some days where if I'm into something, I'm into what I'm doing. Because I bring my lunch, I only take a fucking half hour. I only take 20 minutes. I warm up my food and eat it. I'm done. You let me
I am going to say,
cigarettes.
I do think, well, okay, so you can smoke in the shop?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I don't take breaks.
I still think you should for your own. You really should take a little bit of time to kind of decompress throughout the day, though. Like if you got an hour and you're taking a half hour, you should give yourself 15 minutes to do nothing. Because, like, yeah, I understand and I'm the same way where I would eat lunch at my desk and just keep going. But, like, you really should take some time to, middle of the day, if you got it, to not be eating, you know, throw on your radio and just fucking sit and stare for 15. I think it would benefit you.
That's the other thing. I wear an AirPod all day and listen to what I'm listening to. I don't care.
Yeah, maybe listen to nothing and stare off. Well, you're happy, so that's all that matters.
Maybe. I'm happy. Just leave me alone and don't talk shit about how I'm 10 minutes late. I don't give a fuck. And dock me the 10 minutes. That's my other thing. Dock me the 10 minutes then.
Well, you can't be docked 10 minutes if you're signing back in from your lunch a half hour early. Like you're technically 20 minutes ahead of it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I don't understand the thing.
I don't understand any company that doesn't have the policy of if you're late, stay late. Like, and I know but the shop's only open until. But here's the thing: the face of the shop's open until 5. Why couldn't you technically work until 5:30?
I could.
So like, I don't understand why there would be why would it be like? For one thing, he should have checked your clock in records and go throughout the entire week and go, okay, he was a positive this many. I'm not going to say a fucking word. Like if I was the manager, I would have looked all in all and said, okay, he was here 10 minutes late, but he's doing all his work, and on top of it, he half hour lunches when he should have an hour for the entire week. Shit like that.
This is the thing.
Should be taken in.
He'll go. You know, you were. This is the other thing. He'll go. You were 10 minutes late every day, and now this other guy over here was late. The last couple of weeks, he's been late a couple minutes, and I think it's because of you. And it's like you're blaming me. You don't show up till 9.
How about this? You go talk to the other employee. You blame the other employee for his tardiness, and you ask him why he was late. And then you go through his clock and records and see if he's staying late at all. If he's taking an hour and 5 minutes, that's different. If you look at my lunch and you see I shortchanged myself 20 minutes 3 days in a fucking row, that's an hour, buddy. Shut up.
That's and you know this whole like bad influence thing. It's just aggravating because
is this guy older or younger than you? Older, right?
He's older than
yeah. Fucking how old? Let me guess. Late 50s, if not mid 60s.
Oh, you're wrong.
How old?
He's 10 years older than me.
Oh, so he's still young enough to be a cunt because of his age.
Yeah, like barely.
It's not. So what his criticisms aren't out of like the old dude like you need to get it together, bud. It's out of the like, hey, fuck you, man. You need to listen to me.
What it is it's weird, and it's if we were in a setting where there's 20 dudes in the shop, I could see where my actions do reflect, and it causes the company a problem. Because you have nobody at our shop is entry level. Let me start there.
I'm sorry, but if nobody's entry level, then each dude shits on his own. We're all adults here. Fuck out of here. That's stupid.
Yeah, I'm not a bad influence on anybody. I understand if we have 20 dudes, you know, 8 dudes are experienced and then 13 dudes are entry level or a little bit above that, I could see where I'm a bad influence.
Only weak men use the excuse that influence has gotten to them. Fuck out of here, pussies.
Well,
Your manager's a
20-year-olds.
pussy. Your pussies. You're still
Yeah.
you can fucking you can't drink yet, which is stupid. Can't own a gun yet in a lot of states now, which is stupid. But you can do all the other fun stuff. You can fuck. You can join the military and kill people and get drunk in the military. By the way, I gotta stop watching documentaries on naval carriers' mess halls.
Okay.
I literally watched 2 of them. They were like 20 minutes each yesterday, where it was like I started watching one and I'm like, this is me, 2 a.m. That's a pretty big goddamn vat, dude. What is that? Fuck, it's eggs. That's a lot of eggs.
You're watching mess hall videos?
Dude, it literally was like, how do we feed 17,000 naval and staff and soldiers and blah blah blah, and it's like we use 136 pounds of chicken wings a day, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's a lot of fucking chicken wings.
Oh yeah,
bro.
no, it's crazy if you think about it.
It really
They're
is.
cities.
Yeah. Well, then you go into like their cooler level. It's not a cooler; it's a cooler level. Literally, right off the dock, you've got this giant cooler, and it's a small city's worth of fucking survival for.
Yeah,
God
no, I
knows
think
how
it's
long they're supposed to be out there.
Aircraft carriers, I think, have like 3,500 people on them.
Yeah, this one was a full carrier at 17,000. Then I watched one that was an older one, and I knew it was older because the dudes all had the big glasses. But I still found it interesting because they're still cooking in giant vats, like it's relatively the same. Not much has changed except there's more microwaves. But they're like, these soldiers can eat just about 24 hours a day, and it's like, just about? Like, is there like is it only continental breakfast after 6 a.m., like 2 a.m.? Like, what's the deal?
What's their shift? I'm sure.
Yeah, but I'm sure if you
it's time for their shift.
But I'm sure if you can't sleep, you can go down to the mess hall and get yourself like a fucking burrito or something. Is the thing. Like, that's the crazy thing about it.
Something in tinfoil, I'm sure. Like,
well, no, the way these guys talked is
warming lamp.
These guys said they had hot food, and there's like the steam tray type hot food. But the whole idea is they cook these giant portions of it and just portion and heat it up. It's no different than your average restaurant. Same shit they do.
All right, I really got to go stir the stock.
God damn it.
And then I'm going to tell you this. Have you ever heard the story of the USS Texas?
Is that what that song is based off of?
Which one?
USS Texas.
There's no song about it that I know of.
Be right back.
I'll tell you a story.